It's almost February 2020. You know what that means? That most people's New Year's resolutions have already failed. Yeah, I know. It's pretty disappointing. But we have to ask ourselves, why does that happen and how we can do better? Well, one of the biggest reasons why people fail and seem to fall off is that they do not seem to be consistent with the activities, the daily activities that they should do in order to achieve their goals. In this video, I'm going to show you one of the best solutions I have found to solve this problem. Okay, so how to stay consistent with your goals? One solution that I have found is the Jerry Seinfeld method of not breaking the chain. And yeah, I know, like, Jerry Seinfeld? How? How is that going to help us? Isn't that a comedian? But here it is. So basically what he did was he wanted to write a joke every day for an extended amount of time because he figured that if he would write jokes on a consistent basis, eventually he would write good material that he could actually use in his bits, in his performances. So even though 90% of his jokes would be absolute garbage, the rest would be actually great. So if he would keep writing jokes on a consistent basis, he would eventually get to the point where he would have enough material to actually perform something new. He would have this calendar, he would have like this calendar somewhere, and he would just mark an X over the days in which he had written at least a joke. And eventually he would have this huge streak of consecutive days in which he had achieved what he wanted to do. And even though after a while he wouldn't even feel like writing jokes anymore in a specific day, he would have extra motivation just to not break that chain, because he would essentially destroy the work that he had done before if he would fall off even for one day. So we can apply this method for our lives just to be more consistent with our goals. And it doesn't necessarily have to be everyday activities. So let me show you my system for keeping consistent with going to the gym. So let me show you that really quickly. Okay, so look, I basically printed like 12 of these for every month, and I have these chains that I want to be consistent with. So I have this gym calendar here. So basically my goal with going to the gym is go 3 times per week. If, for example, I go Monday and then Wednesday and then Friday, then this is a successful week, so I can mark it off as such. And this is a weekly chain that I have set for myself. So basically, even if I, for example, in the next week I cannot go for some reason, I cannot go Monday. That's okay. That's fine. I can go the other day, the next day, and then I can go Thursday and then Saturday. And this is gonna still be a successful week. So this is gonna go here as well. And if I eventually get a weekly chain like this, eventually I will have more motivation to keep consistent with going to the gym, because otherwise I would destroy all of this work from before. And essentially, this is how I'm doing it right now. That's how I was doing it for like 4 months already. So at this point, there's just no way I'm gonna fail this objective of going to the gym consistently. Now the question is, how long will you be doing this? Because it's not realistic to think that you're gonna do this indefinitely, right? Like, you're not gonna get to the point where you have like a 2,000-day streak or something like that. You're not gonna track that for that long of a period of time. So the basic idea here is that you should use this method of not breaking the chain essentially until it becomes a habit. So once it becomes a habit, you don't really need to track it anymore, because it's so automatic that you do it anyway, you know? And studies have shown that on average, it takes about 66 days to develop a new habit. So between 2 and 3 months to develop a new habit. We should use this method to keep consistent until that point in which we develop it as a habit, until it becomes a new habit. And after that, you can not keep track anymore. Now I'm at the 4-month mark, but I'm still gonna track it a little bit longer, maybe at the 6-month mark, I'm gonna stop, or maybe even after a year. But it's unrealistic to just keep track of it indefinitely or for several years. That's just not. After a point, it will become like tedious and it wouldn't benefit you at all. But in the beginning, if you struggle with keeping consistent with the activities that would take you to achieving your goal, then this is a great method to do so. And also, if you have a problem with just starting, you cannot even put in 3 days or 1 day for that matter, then you can check out my previous video talking about how to achieve your goals in 2020. And basically, the basic idea here is that you could use the 5-second rule to your advantage. And the 5-second rule goes like this: if you have the minute you have an instinct to act on a goal, you should start a countdown of 5 seconds, go like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then be physically moving. You should start doing the thing right from the get-go. Because if more than 5 seconds pass, then your brain is going to come up with some excuses not to do it, right? So you should force yourself to take the actions you need to take to achieve your goals in the beginning. And then once you have a few consecutive days in which you have been successful, then you'll have this extra motivation to not break the chain. And after that, after a while, after 2 to 3 months, or maybe even like half of a year, it will become a habit. It will become so automatic that you'll be doing it anyway, without keeping track of it. So you can stop with the chain thing after a while. The goal here is to be consistent, not to just keep this little game, just to see how much of a streak you can accumulate. That's not necessarily the point. The point here is to be consistent eventually and to develop the habit. Also, if you're interested in finding out how to build better habits and how to get rid of the negative ones, then check out my Atomic Habits summary video, in which I talk about the key concepts that I have found from that book, from Atomic Habits by James Clear. So really, this Jerry Seinfeld method is really powerful. It might sound kind of silly, like a little game, but in reality it wouldn't change much. But just give it a chance, because for me, it's really been a game changer, especially with going to the gym. I really believe that if I wouldn't have tracked how often I go to the gym, and I wouldn't have kept this chain of 4 months of consistent showing up to the gym, I think I would have failed again. Like, this is my, I don't even know, like 6th attempt to go to the gym consistently, and finally now I am succeeding with this goal. So I really would attribute this to the 5-second rule, first of all, to push myself to go even though I don't feel like it in those rare moments, and this Jerry Seinfeld method of not breaking the chain. I have really been consistent for a longer period of time, and actually at this point I think that it's actually a habit, but I'm still gonna keep track of it for a little longer, just to be sure. Use this method of not breaking the chain. You don't necessarily need to do it just like Jerry Seinfeld. You don't need to just do an everyday activity. You can define your successful weeks or days or even months however you want. The key here is to keep consistent and to track your progress, track your successful days, weeks, or months, or whatever your goals are. Just keep track of those and try to keep a streak or a chain so that you will be more motivated in the future to just not break it. So give it a chance. It's really a game changer. Give it a try, give it a chance, and tell me how it goes. And that's pretty much it. That's one of the best solutions to keep consistent with your goals. And if you failed already with your New Year's resolutions, you don't need to wait until next year to try again. Like, try again now. It's fine. It's fine to try and to fail. It's fine to fail. The key here is to learn from our failures and to try better, to fail better maybe. Yeah, to fail better next time, and eventually we will have success. Let's try to be consistent. Let's try to make 2020 our best year yet, applying these strategies and tactics to fail better. So thank you for watching. If you like this content, then consider subscribing and turning the bell button on to be notified when I post something new, and I'll see you in the next one.